Star Wars, Young Jedi Knights, Shards of Alderaan, Chapter 21, the final chapter. It was late afternoon when the Rock Dragon and the Millennium Falcon touched down on the landing field near the Great Temple. The Haven ship's engine still sounded weary and uneven as it descended through the humid atmosphere, but the craft flew passably and made it through hyperspace all the way back to Yavin 4 without a mishap. Jason couldn't remember the jungles of Yavin 4 ever looking greener and more full of life. The distant sun sparkled brightly. He couldn't put his finger on why, but a flood of excitement and anticipation rushed through his veins like a babbling brook.
Who?
Jason. Tenelka turned to him and queried an eyebrow as the craft settled to the ground. Yavin 4 does seem beautiful, she said, looking at him with surprised expression. Tossing Red Gold's braids away from her face, Jason wondered if she picked up on his emotions. Jaina powered down the Rock Dragon's engines. I know what you mean. I feel the same. I'm looking forward to getting back to work on the reconstruction efforts around here, even all those tedious Jedi practice exercises. Loie gave a thoughtful rumble. With a whine and a blast of altitude control jets, the Millennium Falcon landed beside them. When I saw the Great Temple from up in the sky, I felt relief, Tenelka continued. From that altitude, I could see no damage, only that temple was still there, surrounded by all the jungle. Strange. Maybe it's not so strange, Jaina said. After seeing what the Death Star did to Alderaan, knowing that there's no way to repair that kind of destruction, I feel lucky that we all made it back here in one piece. Remember, the Death Star almost did the same thing to Yavin 4. Loie gave a short woof. Oh, I agree, Master Labaka, MTD said. I have a definite preference for my planets and moons to be in one piece. Loie finished the shutdown procedures, and Jaina flicked the switch that extended the landing ramp. Han Solo and Chewbacca had already emerged from the Millennium Falcon. Look, there's Mom and Anakin, Jaina said, pointing to the front viewport, shadowing her eyes from the bright afternoon sunlight. Watching his father dash down the ramp of the Falcon to swing Leia into his arms, Jason suddenly remembered why he had felt so excited. Tonight, the entire Solo family would be together to celebrate his mother's birthday. Jason snatched open his crash webbing. He grinned a challenge at his sister. Race you! Before she even had a chance to say what he waited for, he scrambled out of his seat and headed for the exit. That evening, hundreds of torches flickered in the warm night air, decorating the great temple of Yavin 4. They burned at each corner on all levels of the pyramid, running in brilliant zigzagged columns on both sides of the stairways. Jaina looked down the long wooden tables that had been used for her mother's birthday feast. The Jedi students and instructors, the New Republic engineers, the few dignitaries who had come from Coruscant were just beginning to disperse. But Han, Luke, the twins, and Anakin would stay for a smaller, more private celebration, among with the family's closest friends. Chewbacca, Loie, Tenelka. Surrounded by her husband and children, Leia seemed unusually relaxed and contented. Happy birthday, Mom, Jaina said. I couldn't have asked for a more wonderful gift than to have my whole family with me, Leia answered. It's such an unusual occurrence these days, and your father was very mysterious about this trip you all took. Jaina suddenly wondered if she and Jason had made the wrong choice for their mother's present. Would Leia be disappointed by the gift they had brought? Would it bring back too many painful memories about her lost home of Alderaan? What if it only saddened her? Han put his arm around Leia. The kids got a presentation to make. They got you something special. Jason glanced at Anakin, who quickly got the message. Her younger brother had always seen Jaina glance at Anakin. Always seemed perceptive. I'll go first, he said. Anakin switched his fringe of straight brown hair away from his eyes and gently set a wrapped package the size of his fist at the table in front of his mother. Leia carefully untied the strings and pulled back the glittering mesh that covered the gift. Oh, Anakin, it's beautiful, she said, holding up a tiny stone replica of the Great Temple, a small ziggurat complete with the most meticulous details. I used a hologram as a pattern. I made this out of broken stone shards from the temple, pieces crushed too finely to use for rebuilding. It's to remind you of what the temple will look like again once we're all finished. Jaina's throat tightened at the sight of the massive pyramid intact again, as if only in miniature. She nodded at Jason, who reached beneath his seat, pulled out the gift they had brought, and placed it on the table with a loud, soft thunk. Her mother gave them a grateful smile. It's heavy. What is it, a rock? Jaina had prepared a speech to go with it, but suddenly found she couldn't remember the words. She watched silently as her mother unwrapped the brightly colored cloth that held the shard of Alderaan. Lobaka and Tenel Ka looked on instantly in silence. Leia studied, ran her fingers over the metal sparkling facade surface as if it crackled with electricity. It's from Alderaan, isn't it? She asked in a whisper. We wanted you to have a special piece of your home, Jaina said in a strained voice. We know how much Alderaan meant to you and that the Empire destroyed it, but in a sense it's not really gone. We're children of Alderaan too, because you passed on what you learned there to us. In a way, the spirit of Alderaan is very much alive. It's from the core of the planet, Jason added. It's from its heart. Tears filled Leia's eyes. Yes, I know it's from the heart, she said. From Alderaan, and from yours as well. The heart is the only thing the Empire could never destroy. Those of us who survived, who weren't on the planet when it was blown up, carry the heart of Alderaan inside us, and we pass it on to you, our children. And speaking of the children of Alderaan, Hen said, looking at the twins, your mom, and not Luke and I, talked to Raynar this afternoon. Let him know what's been going on with Boba Fett, Nola Takona, and the bounty hunter on his father's head. Han tells me that your friend Zeke's offered to help us search for Born Thol, Leia said. It's a brave thing for him to do. He must know there will be danger. Well, I'm sure he knows, Jaina said, but he's changed. Everything's changed. I guess we just have to get back to work and make the best of all these changes. Suddenly she felt a pang of guilt over her selfishness. In her excitement at being united with her family, Jaina had completely forgot about Raynar. At the moment, the young man had no hope of seeing his parents or any other relatives. He couldn't even be sure his father was still alive. Raynar could use some good friends right now, Luke said. Her uncle's tone was mild, but Jaina heard the mild rebuke in his words. The gentle rebuke in his words. She resolved to include the other boy more often in their daily activities. Glancing at Jason, she saw the same thoughts seem to be running through his mind as well.
Who?
This is a fact, Tenel murmured. Lobaka gave a thoughtful growl. Leia raised a cup of jury juice. To family, she said. Han lifted his cup to touch hers. And to appreciate what we've got. Well, we've got it. To family, echoed Jason, Jaina, Anakin, Tenel and two enthusiastic Wookiees. And they all raised their cups and drank.